So here's the thing about Book 3 Fire of Avatar: The Last Airbender. After the extreme cliffhanger at the end of Book 2, Book 3 had a lot of questions to answer. It takes its time with them, with the impending eclipse nearing closer and closer, Ba Sing Se being taken over by the Fire Nation, and Zuko taking his father's side. There's a lot going on that they have to correct before the series ends. Of course, though, they handled it deliberately and with enough detail to really earn the final climax at the end of the season. The premiere is probably my favorite of the three. Lots of interesting development for Aang, who really shows a different side of himself in his determination to fix everything immediately. Everyone was waiting to see what would happen with Zuko next as well. We're all so disappointed in our child, but I love that he makes the poor decision first because he learns more out of it. First of all, revealing Ozai's face does a lot to bring the story to a new level. It also brings him back as a permanent figure in Zuko's life, presumably a welcome one. That's incorrect though. Also, fuck whoever the character designer is, why is he so handsome?
Baba Booey.
They also put a lot more into Azula's character. I think she filled her role well last season, but we didn't get much texture for her, rather focusing more on Zuko. Now we see her in her element in home court. She's confident and playful, and still trying to suss Zuko's motivation out. Plus, in the beach, we get to see more texture from her than ever. Even though it can be comedic, it's clear that she feels remorse and pain from how her mother saw her. It's a great episode for Zuko as well, of course. I love the callbacks to his childhood with his father, and how they really cemented them as a family for the first time. Even Sokka gets nice development in the first half. Love that they address his role in the group and give him a skill to help more in combat. Not saying he never pulled his weight, because he definitely did, but this makes him so much more useful. Plus, the episode where he learns is really telling about his character, especially when he admits his true identity to Pian Dao. The first half also has some fantastic one-shot episodes, specifically The Puppet Master and The Avatar and the Fire Lord. One is a great horror episode that introduces a terrifying bending technique, and the other provides so much context for Aang and Zuko's relationship, it's bonkers. They've always paralleled each other, and that finally pays off in the story with their paths being intertwined. The introduction of Combustion Man is an underrated part of this season. He's a huge threat, and he doesn't say a single word. Such a cool and inventive power, and the fights against him are always so desperate and tense. Also, buff Iroh. The lead up to the eclipse is beautiful, and I love that they take their time with the first half. While there are some episodes I'm not super fond of, it does provide some really good context for life inside the Fire Nation. And then they punctuate it with one of the best climaxes in Avatar. I can't believe it isn't a season finale. The eclipse definitely could have been. Zuko stands up to his father, Sokka learns about Suki, and the invasion comes in with full force. Love all the CGI they use here, really inventive for when this show was made. Plus, everyone we've met comes back to help. I always fall for that kind of shit in television. And Sokka's inventions get some real cool use. The second half is then able to fly forward. After settling most of the problems at the end of the last season, they are able to really finish out some of the arcs, ingratiating Zuko into the group, and really making him a part of the team. Again, I love how they take their time and get him to meet and bond with one of the members at a time. Really helps to make him feel like a part of the team. I love every Zuko field trip. Sokka's the most, but Katara's is also incredible because they finally give closure to her past, something I was always waiting for and thought would never happen this late. And then they give us one episode break before the four most stressful episodes of the entire series. I appreciate that. Plus, Ember Island Players has a lot of self-referential humor where they make fun of their characters. I'm a sucker for that. I don't really need to talk about how great the finale is, but I will. It's awesome. Splitting it into 4 parts so that it's like a movie was super smart, and it makes for a really impressive final part. I love the mystery that begins it, with Aang on a more spiritual journey. Fitting that they give us one more of those before the series ends. It's also needed so that they can tie up the whole killing Ozai thing. I'm not exactly a fan of how they finished it so quickly, but I do like what Aang learns about energy. Gives the Avatar a whole new level of godliness. And then the final battle is perfectly crafted. Everyone gets a moment to shine and their own climax. Toph and Sokka's almost broke my heart, and I never expected it to. I don't know how they convinced me that they would die, but I fully felt that they would here. Crazy stuff. Iroh and the White Lotus are so cool to watch in action. Such fluid movement and a clear distinction between who's was a master bender. I do have to say Zuko and Azula outshined Aang and Ozai for me. Lots more emotion and heat, pun intended, behind that one. Zuko sacrificing himself for Katara is the icing on the cake for both of their arcs, Katara forgiving him and Zuko and what he learned. But Aang and Ozai's fight is of course incredible, long, and intricate. Not a huge fan of how Aang gets bailed out by a rock, but I do like how the first half is a really big struggle for him, and then Ozai runs away for the entire second half. Seeing Ozai get owned was completely necessary. Plus, there's a nice, happy ending. I'm glad we got to see most of the characters earn their happiness. Not without heartbreak, though. They did spring for a little darkness to end Azula's arc. Frankly, I wouldn't have it any other way, because I love dark shit, but it is an awful thing to see happen even to an enemy. So that's everything I loved about that season. If you enjoyed this video, consider supporting us on Patreon for more and early access to all of our content. It really helps us and to keep this channel going. Let me know what you'd like me to make a video essay on next, and I will do it. I really love taking requests and talking about whatever you guys want. So I will see you guys next time, and goodbye.